Thanks for coming back. We're ready to talk about electric sanders, and I know that John is really excited about the first one. You still got your safety equipment.
I got to put my goggles on because even if we're not going to breathe sawdust, it could get in your eyes. Right?
That's right.
Okay.
And bugs will get in your eyes from a motorcycle.
That's right, absolutely. The first one we're going to talk about here, and actually if you want to pull that Festool back over for me, we're going to talk about the Deltex sander. It's a little detail sander. Actually, no, you got
wrong one.
We're sorry. Here we're right here. You should have been all set up. Our prop guys aren't doing their jobs. They're supposed to pay attention here.
And we're the prop guys.
So you put that on the sand. We're the prop guys too. So this is a low-budget film here, guys. Okay, so we got this on auto. Now we're using, that's the old style.
Correct, the old style.
We're using the Festool CT22 vac. It's an auto start vac. These are Festool sanders that we're going to be going over first. This is their the little Deltex Delta Sander DX93. It's a little orbital sander. And Ken, you want to go over the difference between orbital and random orbital?
Sure. An orbital sander just cuts a round orbit. So it makes really a myriad of small circles.
Okay.
Which can, if you're not careful depending on what you're sanding, actually create a pattern.
Okay.
By going to a random orbital, you're not making a true circle, but because of a counterbalance that spins, you're actually doing
You look pretty cool through these, you know that?
I need to give my wife a pair of those. Oh, boy, yeah.
Okay. So this little sander will allow you to get into corners very easily. If you can see that or not. So you can stand right up to the corner. And notice we have almost total dust collection with this sander as well, as with all the Festools. So that's the Deltex sander. And this one has a random orbit from 5,000 to 9,700 RPM. And the
real benefit to that is the size of the shoe. It's so small that you can get into a lot of places that a larger sander wouldn't get to.
So smaller is better.
In some
You
cases,
think? Yeah.
in some cases, it will go where the big won't.
That's right. Okay. All right.
But
what's the next sander we have?
Let's go bigger and see what it can do.
All right. Are we going to run that one?
We certainly can, because there's an important difference on this tool.
Okay.
If you'll notice on the tool that John has, he has one. It's got a hardwired plug. On a lot of the newer Festool tools, the plugs are actually, and as you can see, this one is brand new. And once again, we really want to thank Festool for providing us with this tooling. But this has the quick release.
It's called the plug-it cord. And this just pops on the back. Pops right into the back of the sander. And the advantage to this is that if you have several sanders out for a job, you only have to have one cord. If for some reason the cord breaks, it wears out, you cut it with something, you just have to get a new cord, plug it in.
Now I notice there's something different on the back of this compared to what we did just a minute ago.
Yeah, this one is set up with a bag, which is nice for, like maybe on the job site if you're working, doing refacing or something like that. This bag also comes off, and you can hook this up to the vac. So you've got
so it can go either way.
dust collection, exactly.
Oops, I'm sorry.
We don't need that on.
That's right.
What are you doing, Ken? Come on.
I just want to see if you were
Get
paying
with the
attention.
program here. Come on.
You took your glasses off. It threw me off.
I know. Oh, yeah. I should put my glasses on. Here, actually, I'll put these glasses back on so I can actually see something. Okay, so you want to go over this one?
Sure.
Go right ahead.
Once again, in performance, its characteristics are very similar to the sander that we used just a moment ago. Once again, the primary difference is the foot is larger. It will, as the other one did, get right up to the edge. What are you doing? Get with the program here. You can't get good help. This will get right up to the edge. The real difference here is the sanding surface involved. This is much larger. So this will not even remotely begin to go where where the smaller sander went, but as you can see, one, with the bag, the collection isn't quite as positive as you would get with the vacuum. We had a little bit more dust here, although we didn't throw a lot of dust in the air.
Right.
But the surface area that we sanded was much larger. So the real difference between this and the smaller sander would be the foot itself,
That's
wouldn't
correct.
you say?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
You know, one thing I did want to show everybody, I don't know if you can see this real well, that's sawdust mixed with water, and when you breathe that stuff all day long, this is what your lungs are going to get like. And I don't care what anybody says about nuisance dust or it's not really a hazard. I wouldn't want this in my lungs. And it's the same with solid surface material. But actually it's worse with solid surface material because the solid surface does not mix with water and it'll actually coat whatever it comes in contact with, and it's going to cut down on the air movement through, so it's going to restrict. So it's real important to really consider dust collection. Don't make light of it. Don't think that you can just go all day without it and no problem, because it's going to catch up with you sooner or later. Mm-hmm. So that's that. Let's look at the next sander. I didn't mean to hold you up on that.
No, no. I thought.
Okay, we'll take our plug-it cord off here real quick. And the next sander we're going to look at, and we don't have to run every one of these, Ken. I think a lot of people know how these work. Mm-hmm. Which sander is this?
Once again, this is the RS2E. This is a half.
This is the RS400, isn't it?
Negative 2E.
No, I'm sorry.
This is the RS2E.
RS2E.
This is the 400 is a quarter.
You're correct.
Sheet.
Right.
This is a half sheet sander. As you can see, this, although not probably used as prevalent as it was in years past, still a lot of woodworkers will use this type of a sander. It's variable speed. This one is also a hardwired plug,
yes,
as opposed to some that have the quick release.
Right.
It is meant to certainly operate with a vacuum system, and it has the holes for
They also have a punch that you can get. So all you have to do is take a half sheet of sandpaper, you lay it in the punch the holes, and then it fits right on here for dust collection.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Again, it's not a real common sander, but a lot of guys still use them. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Let's see. Next sander is going to be this
oh,
one
also, just so we mention, the great thing about this sander too, and Festool has really covered the bases. It doesn't just necessarily work only with the hook and loop, but if you look, you can actually take, by raising this tab, and you can use just a standard sheet of paper, tuck it into the tab, and lock it down.
Very good.
Same thing, a lock in the back. So it takes both hook and loop and a standard sheet good.
Great. Did you happen to bring any 5-inch paper for this sander?
Yes.
I don't see any 5-inch paper on anything here.
We did. We had some. Nope.
Anybody see any 5-inch paper laying around? It doesn't really matter what kind.
There we go.
Okay, there's a little bit of Yoast paper. That'll work. A little 220. Okay.
And once again, we're able to use the same plug over and over again, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Now, this is not a two-man operation.
No, but it looks good for a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Standard 5-inch random orbit sander. Mm-hmm. It is variable speed from, let's see. I'm looking on the board right there, folks, because I really don't know the answer to this. No, keep going, keep going. We've already gone through all of these. Okay, 5-inch random orbit sander, ES125. Power consumption, 220 watts, 2 amps, 5-inch. Random orbit from 6,000 to 13,000 orbits per minute. Why are you going away? Put it back up. Come on, come on. Roll it back up. There we go. Sanding stroke, 330 seconds. And it does have a dust connection on it to hook up to...
Now, can I ask you one question? Sure. And this is something that I know I get asked all the time. Why 330 seconds? Why 3/16? Why?
Well, depending on what you're finishing, the finer the stroke, the finer the finish is going to be. 3/16, I believe, is used more in woodworking and what have you, because you don't want to close the pores down so the stain won't be absorbed. 330 seconds is very common in solid surface material to get a nice finish out of it, especially if you're going for a polish.
Now, if you were looking for a more aggressive cut, you would certainly go with the 3/16.
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So this one is it's a nice, comfortable sander. Again, the auto start back comes on.
It's actually picking up the dust from before.
Right. Now the beauty of this is if you're working in somebody's house doing a refinishing job, refacing, whatever, I mean look at that, there's no dust at all. You know, I can't say it's 100% dust recovery, but boy, I'll tell you, it's got to be pretty close. Nice comfortable sander. I don't particularly like this type of a sander because of the high profile.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer one of the next sanders that's going to come along, but a lot of guys use these. Very, very common style of a sander.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now here we have really the ETS 150, and once again, no reason to really run this tool because it is merely the 6-inch version of the 5-inch that we just showed, a little bit taller profile.
However, this is available in a 5mm and a 3mm stroke.
Okay, and that would mean
3/16, 3/32.
Okay.
Very close. Very close.
Yep, very close. Close enough to where it would matter. It has a dust extraction once again. Has a built-in wrench for pad removal.
Now, but you know what? Let me see. Go ahead and talk about that.
Okay. Once again, some of the great things about this is to remove the pad, you have to take out the center hex nut. This has a built-in wrench right on the body so you don't lose it. It's variable speed, easy operation. It's ergonomic, very comfortable head to grab.
Yep.
Very comfortable to hold this way. Once again, a bigger, stronger version to the one we just used. Great tool.
One thing I want you to notice on the Festool paper, one thing that makes this sander unique over any other, the hole in the center is unique on the Festool sander. When you put the paper on and turn the machine on, it actually blows air out the center hole, and it helps to move the dust to the outside edge to be sucked in by the vacuum. Mm-hmm. So what that does is that greatly reduces the amount of buildup that occurs on a sandpaper that doesn't have that. Because normally it has to move over by itself, and then you'll develop a ring here. With this, it's actually, there's an air channel just moving it over. So that's kind of unique to Festool, and for woodworkers, it's great for solid surface fabricators. I prefer the Yoast paper, as you do.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was actually going to just show that very quickly if I could. And I know personally it's a real strong affinity of mine, the Yoast, and that is because I come from the solid surface world. John comes more from the wood side. I like this because the whole bottom.
I'm all about wood.
You're all about. I've heard that. But we won't just say where I've heard about that. But the great thing about this paper is the issue with the Festool papers. You've got to line your holes up. And, of course, the dust still has to travel across the face.
That's correct.
The thing I really like about papers like this, especially when we're talking about solid surface, is you're not going to get the plastic superheating, bonding to the paper, and then the paper riding off the work.
Right.
You can see the dust is going to travel maybe a 1/16 of an inch, and it's gone because the extraction holes exist all over the paper.
Right, and then it actually travels across the back of the paper instead of across the front. So it goes through a hole here, travels across the back, and after you sand on this for a while, you can take your paper off and you can see the patterns that moving it to the holes from behind. But you're never sanding on dust.
You're never sanding on dust. You're always in contact with the material. And once again, absolutely, the great thing about this is the whole pad is sanding all the time. So it shortens your labor. The tool lasts longer. The paper lasts longer because you don't use them as much. So it's a money saver all the way around.
Absolutely. Okay, I think the next sander we're going to look at, and again, it would be nice if we had some paper. Let's see here.
Right off of there.
Take that off. Put that on.
This is a tool that I know I personally really come to love, these Rotexes. Once again, coming from the solid surface world, and I think they have done some phenomenal things with this tool. Once again, you have a simple port which to attach the vacuum. One of the great things is the new design that Festool has gone to is instead of the elongated oval, now we just have a round port, which of course matches the hose. The hose isn't going to fall out because the hose is grooved, as is the back of the port.
Right. The oval style is this one here. Oh, and you know what? Let me just show you something here real quick while I'm seeing it. There's a metal tab on here, and what that's for is this is an anti-static hose. So when you're sanding wood, you don't get a buildup on the hose of all your wood dust and what have you, which is pretty neat. So anyway, this is the older style. It's a little bit harder to get onto this than it is the round one. But again, they're making changes all the time, and every time they make a change, it comes out better.
And once again, a couple great things. One, we've used the same cord the whole time, which
Right.
is absolutely great. It just shows you how simple. Of course, you got to line everything up, but it shows you how simple the tool is itself.
Right.
The great thing about the Rotex, they made some incredible changes when they came out with this new line. The switch to take it from random to grind used to be located on the side. Now it's a simple button on the top, which
Now,
makes
what do
the
you mean
operation.
by random orbit to grind?
Well, if you actually look at this pad when I begin to run it, you'll notice it has a very interesting star-shaped pattern. See it?
Okay, right, yep.
That means it's in a grind mode. It's instead of moving in what we would have called
Okay.
before a random orbital, making small circles,
All right.
it's now making a star shape. So it's moving more in a round pattern, straight round pattern, and it's acting as a grinder, much just like a grinder would.
Okay.
By simply pushing the switch over, showing the pad again, we get small circles. If you look at the pad, the little dots form little circles. And that means now it's in a random orbital
Okay.
pattern. Now, once again, this is variable speed, which is really great. But what is really cool about this is when you get it running, and let's say you're trying to take out a deep scratch, a gouge, or maybe even trying to level an even spot because of a seam or some imperfection in the material, by putting it on grind, it removes material very rapidly.
Right.
It's in a very aggressive mode now. Not a good finishing mode, but a cutting mode.
Right.
But I can turn it off, just by switching it over. Now it's in a random orbital. I can hold it just by the hose and it'll go nowhere.
Okay.
If I tried to do that in the grind mode, it would run off because its cut is so aggressive. These tools are so well balanced, so easy to run, that as you can see, it'll just sit there and float by itself.
Right. One thing I want to point out, I mean, you're always talking about solid surface, but when you're using this in an aggressive mode for wood, if you're doing like working on a boat or something, we've got to grind off a lot of material, or fiberglass, it'll grind it right off, and then you can switch right over to the random orbit mode. So it's really, it's great for wood, fiberglass, solid surface materials. It's a great sander.
And now,
The only thing that would make this sander any better is if it were bigger.
see, bigger is better.
Yep. Although I'll tell you, I was surprised when the 5-inch came out. I was very surprised at how many people bought it. We were flooded with sales. It's a really popular tool. I couldn't really understand why you would use a 5-inch when you could use a 6-inch. But for installations and everything, the 5-inch is
An excellent tool.
Yeah,
It's an excellent tool.
It's really the tool of choice.
Now this has really become something I was really excited. They made some really phenomenal changes. A lot of guys out there have the RO150E. When they came out with the FEQ, once again the RO150 FEQ, they made a lot of really great changes. They listened to some of the complaints that existed out there. Once again, the switch that takes it from grind to random orbit is now on the top. It used to be on the side, which it would bang into things, get broken off, get harder to operate.
With stuff too.
It also has this removable shield right on the front. As you can see, it easily comes off.
And that's going to stop you from like hitting a wall or something?
Or bumping into a cabinet, which is even worse.
That's right.
Damaging a cabinet on a job site. This will prevent the pad from doing that kind of damage. Once again, your on-off switch is there. You've got the quick release cam lock plug. You have this right here. Another thing that is really pretty nifty about this, and I wonder if it'll work just like this. Yep, we'll find out. If this is in your way for some reason, you can actually remove it from the tool.
Right.
So it gives it a very different profile, gives you a little bit more access, and once again, it just quite simply just locks right on. There we go. So once again, a super simple tool. It does come with the right angle handle that can go on either side.
Right.
Should you want to use that.
Especially when you're going to be in a grinder mode.
And the removal of the pad. Once again, I showed a tool earlier where you had to use an Allen wrench to take out the Allen nut. In this case, it's gone because these all now lock just by turning the pad till a positive locks on the...
you have to be in the other mode, don't you? Oh, they got it?
Yep. And they just come right off.
Okay.
So switching.
And that's important, especially in solid surface, because the easier it is to get this off, the more chance that you're going to take that off and blow it out all the time. Keep this maintained. And keep in mind, all of the Festool tools come with a 3-year warranty, and that's pretty much unheard of in the business, especially in commercial, and especially in solid surface, because they really eat tools up.
They do.
And all of their tools come in really nice boxes. They're called sustainers. This one happens to be one that you can buy that has separations for all the different sandpapers available. So that's really nice. And the tools all stack on top of the vacuum, which are really cool. So it's a whole system that you're buying. I know we're just talking about sanders right now, and we've got some others, but the Festool is a system. It's not just a sander, not just a saw. It's a whole system. So you got to take a look at that. And, of course, the website will tell you all of that. Prices are all up on the website. And I just wanted to say one thing that's unique about Festool. Their marketing is awesome. Everybody is an ISA, independent sales agent, or a stocking dealer. We all buy the tools. We all sell the tools for the same price. No matter where you buy a Festool product, it's got to be at the retail price. As a matter of fact, we offer a $100 cash reward if you can give us an invoice from another company that sold you a Festool for less than the retail price. It's really great because it keeps everybody on an even playing field, and it's a matter of who do you want to take your business to, not who's the cheapest price on the internet or not who's $5 less. So that's a great thing.
But we do offer a buy one, get one free.
Yes, we do offer a buy one, get one free on Festool. However, it's a buy one, get one free T-shirt.
Oh, okay. A lot of people wonder about that.
That's
but
right.
if you buy a Festool,
you
buy a Festool from us, we'll give you a Festool T-shirt.
Right. One per customer, one per order. And please don't order 10 tools at 10 different times to get 10 T-shirts.
If it's that important, just tell us
talk
up
to
front.
us. We'll work with you.
Well,
Okay.
let me tell you another great thing really that they did on this tool, besides all of these adjustments that they made going from the 150E to the 150 FEQ, is this motor went from 500 watts to 720. That makes this thing a monster, and I'm going to show you exactly
20%
what.
Increase easily.
Oh, yeah. Now I have it in the grind mode. Watch what I'm going to do now. Turn it on, and I'm going to put my weight on this thing. See it?
Wow. You can't stop it.
No, I can't. That was all my weight.
Like, could you just ride that home, or?
The only problem with trying to ride it home is this is really thin and it gets hard to sit on after a while. The vibration gets a bit much.
All right.
So what have we got next?
This is a new sander that we're carrying. For those of you that don't want to buy Festool, that don't care about the 3-year warranty, that don't care that it's an awesome tool, we have other tools, but they're all great. They really are. This one, I don't know anything about. Ken knows pretty much everything about it. Let me just give you a piece of 5-inch paper to throw on there.
Okay.
Because we don't have any to fit it.
Now
we do in the boxes. But
now this one is really different though than our other Festool. Festool doesn't really have a tool like this, but the Nordisk Klingspor have a tool like Festool. So everything has its own purpose.
Right.
The nice thing about this is it's small. It's very compact. You can just hear the weight. Completely different sound on the tool. This right here has a 3/16 stroke. It also comes in a 3/32. This is only available in a 5-inch pad. The difference on this, once again, it's variable speed, but one of the big differences is this has a hard box that collects the dust. What's really interesting about this is your filter's on the top. This goes on with the filter facing up. But this is reusable over and over and over again. With Festool, you throw out the bags. With these, the dust actually drops to the bottom, blows the air out. This just filters out the small particles.
Right.
And then when this is full, you just take, empty it out, blow it out, and you reuse this again over and over and over
that's
again.
pretty nice.
Yeah, so I mean, it's great if you need to get into a small, compact spot. It has a positive lock right on. And once again, you know, a really nice tool. This I would definitely put this down as a finishing tool.
Okay.
This is more for finishing. If you really want to get into heavy cutting, once again, I think the only tool out there is the Rotex.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we do have one other Festool tool to show you. And
no, we're going to save that.
Oh, we are?
Yeah,
Why?
I was thinking about that. We're going to save it till we have our piece of wood up there, and we can really show them how it works.
Let me just tell everybody, you've got to see this because when we were
stick
moving
around
into
for this
our
one.
new offices, John exposed me to this tool. I had never seen it or used it before.
I've exposed Ken to a lot of new things since he joined our company.
Yeah, you're always welcome to come by our office if you want to be exposed to some things. Some of it scares me. I'm still I'm not sleeping well at night, so please. But this one tool he exposed me to, it was phenomenal. I have sworn off belt sanders because of it. It is a phenomenal tool. And
we'll
that's
show
the
you
only
that in just a
tickler.
little bit.
The only tickler all throughout. So are we
Okay,
ready to
great.
swap over to the next thing?
Yeah, if you give us a couple of minutes, we're going to switch over to air tools. So if you'll just watch a note from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Thanks
Thank you.
much.